Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So this is a little bit different from normal. Today we're doing a sort of podcast type thing, and I'm here with Ella Margetts, and today we're going to be talking about unpopular opinions and sharing each other's unpopular opinions.
He is right. I'm Ella, and yeah.
That's true.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. So, my first one, I don't really know how you feel about this, but I freaking hate anime. I think anime is absolute garbage.
I totally agree with you. It is, like, everyone loves it.
It's so annoying.
I know, it's like, oh,
yeah. It's the style, the art style annoys me, the voice acting annoys me, everything about it is just so dumb, and I don't get why everybody loves it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I literally, so one time at school, I was in, like, guitar class or something, and I saw this girl, like, hiding in this, like, closet area, and she was on her phone watching an anime, and I asked her what the anime was about, and she literally said it was about volleyball. The entire thing was just people playing volleyball. There was no plot. It was just anime volleyball.
What the?
It's so, like, there's some kind of things that's, like, really weird that I actually like, but, like, that's just one of the things that just annoys me. Like, there is no anime that I like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, your turn.
Okay, so one of mine.
I'm gonna lose so many subscribers for that, by the way.
So one of mine, like, everyone hates, like, not everyone, but most people hate, like, the new songs, like, the new, like, kind of,
like TikTok-ish songs?
Kinda, yeah. And everyone kind of hates them, but, like, I don't watch TikTok, but for some reason, the songs just give me, like, good vibes, you know? Like, I don't watch TikTok. I used to, but I don't anymore. But the songs, they just kind of make me happy. But a lot of people that don't watch TikTok don't like the songs. I don't watch TikTok, but I do like the songs kind of thing. But, yeah.
Okay. This one I don't really agree with you on. I personally am not a big fan of modern music. I prefer more like 80s kind of music or like 2000s kind of music. Modern music, for the most part, isn't my thing.
I do too. I love, like, the old school music, but I also like kind of this day and age music. Like, I kind of like them all. But yeah, like, that's kind of my unpopular opinion.
I think, honestly, the last modern song that I liked would have been Bad Guy by Billie Eilish, and that came out like a year ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't really agree with you too much on that one.
Yeah. Alright, your turn.
Okay. So, you already kind of know this about me a little bit, but I don't really like superhero movies or comics or anything to do with superheroes. I'm not into that kind of thing.
I'm gonna say I have to disagree with you. I'm a big Marvel geek. I love comics. Like, they're just kind of like my thing, I guess. Like, I love reading them. Like, that's the only really books I kind of read, like comics. And I get that you don't really like superheroes, like, kind of like that stuff. I just like the theme, like, not the themes, but the story behind it, you know? Like,
yeah. I mean, I don't dislike superhero movies necessarily. I'm just not interested in them. Like, I don't really have any desire to watch all the Marvel movies or whatever, but, like, I've watched the Avengers movies and they were all right, but, like, I'm just not really into superhero kind of stuff. Although I will say Marvel is a lot better than DC. I do not like DC at all. Like their movies, I mean.
Yeah, I just like Marvel because I just think Captain America had a really nice backstory. Like, he was like a skinny boy that couldn't do anything to being this awesome superhero.
Yeah, I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like with stuff that has really long, like, ongoing plots like that, the plots sometimes start to get kind of convoluted and don't, like, make a lot of sense, or you have to, like, watch every single movie to understand the next movie. Like, I don't even really like Harry Potter that much just because there's so many movies, and I've never seen a Star Wars movie before, and I don't really intend on watching the series at all.
Yeah, watching all of them in order.
Oh, yeah.
But like that's my opinion. Like that's how I like movies and stuff.
Yeah, but the problem is they're not like super accessible to everyone. Like I wish all of the Marvel movies were on Netflix, but like the thing
Yeah.
is they're all in different places, so you can't really watch all of
There's
them unless you
one
have access to everything.
Disney Plus has all of them.
Oh, really?
Yep, they have all of them. That's except Deadpool, but I've already watched that.
Netflix doesn't even have Deadpool though, I don't think.
They have Deadpool too. It just came out like a couple days ago.
Oh, really? Do they have Deadpool 1 as well though?
No.
Oh, that's kind of weird that they only have the second one.
Yeah, but Disney Plus has all of the movies. So I'm just watching them in order.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so if you want to watch them in order, or people watching the podcast does, they're on Disney Plus.
Nice.
But
That's good to know.
It doesn't come in order. You have to look it up.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how that works.
Yeah.
All right, why don't you share your next one?
Okay, so as we speak, I'm eating a plain chip.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people hate plain chips without sauce or anything, and they're not my favorite, but they're definitely up there. Like, even if they don't really have like that kind of taste, they're still delicious. Like, and a lot of people don't get that. A lot of people are like, oh, plain chips, ew, or they need sauce. But no, they're so good plain.
I agree with you on that one. I like plain Lay's chips and that kind of thing. I mean, I would say I prefer like salt and vinegar and like maybe sour cream and onion or something. But I don't like the ones that are just like covered in different flavors to the point where you can't even taste the chip and all you can taste is just whatever artificial flavoring they put into it, you know?
Yeah. I don't get it because I don't know if this is like, I don't know if a lot of people don't like them, but most people I've seen are like, ew, I kind of don't like plain chips. Like,
yeah, plains are definitely up there for my favorites, but like I really like I like it when you can actually taste like the potato in the chip instead of just tasting
it's like
flavors.
almost like fries.
Yeah.
Like fries.
That's why I really like, I'd say my favorite like brand of chips is Miss Vicky's, because that is, I don't know if you've had them, but they're like kind of like, they taste really freshly baked and you can really taste the actual potato in them and they taste really fresh instead of like Lay's where it's all like greasy and artificial kind of thing.
I'm gonna have to disagree with the Miss Vicky's. I kind of like Old Dutch, but
oh yeah, Old Dutch is up there with one of my favorites too, for sure.
yeah, Miss Vicky's, I have like really sensitive teeth and they're really hard.
They are, yeah, but that's kind of one of the reasons I like them though.
Yeah, but I like Old Dutch, like the classic, like you get them on Halloween.
I like Old Dutch a lot as well. Lay's I like too, but Lay's is like, it gets kind of gross after a bit, after you've had a lot, because they're like really greasy and like, you know, really salty and greasy and stuff.
The flavors are kind of like messed up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And 50% of the bag is just air.
Yeah,
so it's kind of
exactly.
Kind of a rip-off sometimes.
Yeah. Alright, your turn.
Okay, so this one is a bit different from the other ones because this is actually something that I like that other people don't like, because before I've just been saying stuff that I hate, but this is something that I actually kind of like. I actually liked the movie Pixels, and most people freaking hated that movie, and I understand why, but I don't necessarily entirely agree, because, like, I don't know, I thought it had some really funny jokes, like the part where they're in the military area and Josh Gad starts, like, yelling at all the soldiers and, like, slapping them. That part was hilarious. And I thought the CGI was really cool, and it was a cool, like, tribute to old video games. But but one thing, the thing that I didn't like about it, and the reason why I think other people don't like it, is because it kind of totally like craps on modern video games. Like it's sort of like a boomer type
Yeah,
thing where it's like if you don't play Pac-Man, if you only play like modern games, then you're a freaking loser and you don't know what a good video game
yeah,
is. And they even said like the kid in the movie, he like was playing The Last of Us, which is one of the best video games ever made, and it has like this beautiful story, and it's like one of the most heartfelt and emotional video games ever. And he just like pretend you're the guy and try not to die, and it's just like, what, you just shoot people? That's dumb.
yeah.
So it's like I kind of get why people don't like it, but I thought it was a funny movie at least.
I have to 100% agree with you. I loved that movie.
Yeah,
One of the reasons I like that movie is because I like Adam Sandler. A lot of people don't like Adam Sandler.
I don't mind
This is
him.
kind of an unpopular opinion, but Adam Sandler is like my favorite actor. If I could meet him, he's on like the top 5. Like Adam Sandler, I just like grew up watching him, and his movies are hilarious and makes me like feel better and stuff.
Hmm.
That's one of the reasons I watched it. But just it has some funny parts to it, like that part I liked where the guy that created Pac-Man was like, "Good boy, remember you?" and he eats his arm off.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Like they have some little things like that, and I'm gonna have to say it is greatly made. Like you can see all of like the pixels and stuff. Like that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, the CGI is probably my favorite part of the movie, just because I really loved how they made the 3D old video game characters, but like, yeah, it's not my favorite movie, but I liked it though. I definitely liked it, and I like most of the actors in it. I didn't know who that girl was. I don't know who that is, like one of the main characters, the girl, but it has Adam Sandler, Kevin James, Josh Gad, and Peter Dinklage, which is pretty crazy because those are all actors that I quite like. Adam Sandler, I mean, he's made a few movies that I didn't like at all, but I mean, you know, is he's all right, and I like Josh Gad and Peter Dinklage a lot as well.
Okay, so my unpopular opinion, and a lot of people won't agree with me. Like I'm sure
Okay.
everyone in the comments will be like, "No, no." I feel like you can't be too old for necessarily, like, kind of like, not toys, but kind of toys. Like, I've always, like, collected, like, cars and, like, Lego characters and stuff like that. Like, I've always kind of collected those action figures, but everyone's like, "Oh, why would you need those? You're like a teenager."
Mhm. Yeah.
But, like, I feel like you could collect them. I won't say I necessarily play with them. I just collect them because I think they're kind of cool. But
Yeah, I
that's
definitely
something.
I definitely get that. Like, I think that's kind of like the whole inclusive kind of thing that's been going on. Like, you know, boys can wear makeup and that kind of
Yeah.
thing. I think that's fine. Like, I kind of do the same thing. I don't really collect stuff anymore, but I kind of have all this stuff that I collected when I was little. And I mean, I don't want to get rid of it. Like, I don't play with them, but I still like them and I still like having them.
Yeah, same. Like,
Even if it's just for decoration and for like emotional
yeah, I
value,
don't play with
that's
them. But my friend was like, "Alright, I'm like gonna go to Walmart and buy like an action figure for my collection." He's like, "Why? You're like a teenager." And I'm like, "I collect them." And he's like, "So they just sit around?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I don't know. I just like collecting them because I like seeing how many I've collected and how many characters I have, and like
yeah, I don't collect stuff like that anymore, but I did a lot when I was little. The only things related to that kind of thing that I collect now is like Amiibo and like Skylanders, like the Toys to Life video game type things.
Yeah.
Because at least then I get like a functionality out of them too. Instead of just playing with them, I can actually put them in the game and get stuff out of it.
And I agree, but I have all of these Lego, like from Star Wars, from
Oh
Marvel.
yeah,
I just
I
have
like
a
Lego a lot
cupboard.
as well.
I just have a cupboard of just the figures. Only the figures. And there's this store near where I live called Wiffle Games, and you can actually make your own Lego character. You know, I kind of started from there because I could make the stuff that I didn't have. And they have like a bunch. That's where I get all my characters. But just to open up that cabinet and see all of them just brings me like this, almost like an accomplishment. Like, hey, I've collected all of those. Like,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I like Lego too, and I don't think anybody like really judges people for playing with or like for having Lego, at least even when they're like adults, because that's kind of something where it's like a hobby, like, you know, you collect and build Lego.
it's not, I wouldn't say it's my hobby. I hate having a hobby that it costs like money. That's just something I kind of do like just for the joy of it. Like it's not gonna be like a lifetime thing. I just want to get some characters that fit in my cupboard, and I can just open. I can see all of them. Like
yeah, I mean, even when I was little, like I didn't even really play with Lego. I just kind of built it and then kind of just looked at it afterwards. I don't know. Kind of like just seeing it on the table.
That's the thing about Lego. Like I put my Lego in this cabinet, and I'm like, hey, I built that. Like I have this little shelf where I have all my like Lego trucks, and it's like, hey, I built that. Like, and I'm gonna keep having them because when I'm older, I can be like, I built that when I was a kid. Like that's something I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like everyone is like, I don't buy toys anymore. I buy clothes. Like especially for a girl.
Yeah.
Collecting Lego. They're like, I just collect jeans, and I'm like, well, that's something that's gonna fit me for like not even a year.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And then I just throw them in the garbage. Like I would like to have something that I can just collect and it won't outgrow me, kind of like that thing. But
yeah, I know what you mean. I've never really been into like clothes either. I don't really care about clothes. Like I don't care about like designer stuff like Supreme and like Gucci and stuff because it doesn't even look good. It just has a label on it, and that's what gives it the value.
It's like I could print a label on my own shirt and be like, you can buy this for $500. Like
yeah, so it's like
whether I can buy, and then I can buy a shirt that I like for like 20. Like,
yeah, like so yeah. I mean,
if you like the style of the Gucci or the red and white Supreme, buy it then. It's what you want. It's not to look cool. Like I want like camel pants that cost me probably like $25 and they're comfortable.
yeah, and like most of my clothes or like shirts anyway are just like t-shirts that have like a design from a video game or TV show or movie or something that I like. Like I have like probably 10 Stranger Things shirts by now just because I really like that show.
If you're gonna buy something, you have a shirt that's $5 and you hate the shirt that's $5 and you have a shirt that's $40 and you love that shirt. Then buy the $40 one because you're gonna get more use out of it. But if you like the shirt that's $5, but everyone will think you're uncool, then who cares? Buy the $5 shirt. It's what you like. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so my next one is that honestly, a lot of people say that Inside Out is like the best Disney movie ever made and it's like really good, but personally I thought it was really boring. Like I did not care for that movie at all. It was like I wouldn't say it was awful. Like it wasn't as bad as like Brave or The Good Dinosaur or something, but it was just so boring and nothing happened and like they didn't even like most of the emotions weren't even characters. It was basically just joy and sadness were the only characters and the other ones were just kind of there.
Yes, I totally agree with you. It's not the worst movie, but it's also definitely not the best.
It's not unwatchable. It's not like unwatchable. Like there's nothing like about it there's nothing that happens in the movie that makes it bad, but also the reason for that is because there's nothing that happens in the movie. It's just people
Yeah,
walking around for like an hour and a half straight, and it's so boring.
exactly. I totally agree with you. They're just walking around, and most of it's just sad. Like, you should have some happy parts in it too. Like,
It yeah, but it's such like I mean, I kind of like it sucks because I think that's a really awesome concept for a movie. Like I think it had a lot of
yeah,
potential to be good, but it ended up just being like kind of boring. Like nothing really happened. And I feel like it wasn't even like really funny either. Like I think
yeah,
if it had a lot of really good jokes, it would have made up for the fact that it was just walking around for a really long time. Like
yeah,
if you take a movie like Zombieland, for example, most of that movie is just the characters driving around for the entire movie for like an hour and a half. But I still love the movie because it's hilarious and the characters are making a bunch of jokes all the time. But that doesn't happen in Inside Out. They're just doing nothing.
yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah, so that one's mine. There are actually quite a bit of like Disney movies or just movies in general that everybody loves, but I wasn't a big fan of. But Inside Out is definitely one of the biggest ones because it seems like everybody loves that movie.
Yeah.
All right, you can say your next one now if you like.
So mine is like everyone loves reading. They're like, oh, there's a new book, I'm gonna get it. I love reading. But for some, I only like comics. I only like comics. I don't really like books because I don't know, but it's kind of boring. Like I understand why people like it. It tells a story. Like there's some books I like, but reading's really not my thing. Like if I had free time, reading would be at like the bottom of my list, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean, and I do know what you mean, but I don't necessarily agree with you. Although I do
Yeah.
think people who buy books and pretend they love them so much, I think really just buy them to make themselves look smart and they just put them like on their coffee table or whatever in their living room just so people think that they're smart. And I mean, I never really got why reading books like makes you seem smarter. Like I feel like people a lot of times brag about reading in their free time because it makes them seem smarter for some reason, but I don't really know how learning about how Harry Potter killed Voldemort is going to make you a better mathematician or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Like
So I
school
definitely know what you mean.
makes you read.
And
And
like a lot of
that's just the
times
thing.
I feel like the movie is kind of better than the book because I prefer actually like seeing what's going on, and
Yeah,
I feel like you can really connect with the characters more that way. But there are some books that I like better. Like I thought the Goosebumps books were really good and way better than the
yeah,
show. I thought the Diary of
yeah.
the Wimpy Kid books were way better than the movies.
Oh yeah.
Um,
So
I like
I
the Captain
totally
Underpants books a lot too. Actually, those were really funny.
yeah, yeah, I totally agree with you. And for this is one of the reasons I don't like this. I am a very fidgety person. I'm active. I love sports. I'm very active. And I'm very fidgety. So I can't sit still
Hmm.
and I can't think of like I'm very hyper, so I can't really think of the words that much. So one time I'll be reading and like I'll forget the last 10 pages because I've been daydreaming about something else while I read.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And I can't stay still and like I just get distracted so easily. But watching a show, I can move around and get distracted, but still know what's going on because I'm visually seeing it.
Hmm.
You know?
That actually kind of happens to me with movies or long TV shows. Like a lot of times for like 10 minutes straight when I'm watching like an episode of like The Walking Dead or something, I'll just like kind of zone out because like I just kind of like I don't know, I just kind of like
Yeah.
forgot I was there. Um and that's kind of like why I kind of prefer like shorter TV shows than like
Yeah.
movies because I
That's
like a
why I
bunch of
would
different
love
things
to.
happening.
Exactly.
And you said like you like comic books better, or like
Yeah,
you
that's
prefer
why
comic
I like
books?
TV shows, movies. Like I
You
like
can see what's
movies, but
going on. Yeah,
I'm just very fidgety and I don't like sitting on the couch.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
I don't entirely agree with you about the comic book thing. I'm not really into comic books, but like I don't know, like
Yeah,
kind
I
of
prefer
the
That's the
superhero
thing.
thing I said before,
Basically, kind of.
like I don't really care about superhero
Yeah.
comic books,
But
and I feel like
I agree with you with
most
the long
comic
TV shows. Like,
books,
I
yeah,
don't really want to sit on the couch for 3 hours.
yeah, but I feel like most comic books are superhero comic books, you know. So I haven't really read that many.
Like Archie comic books are pretty cool.
But I recently read all, like, 193, I think it is, issues of the Walking Dead comic books, and I loved them. They were really good, and I'd say I like them as much as the TV show. Um,
Yeah,
they were really great, and I
and
read, like, the Dogman comic books, the, like, Captain Underpants
yeah,
spin-off, just because they're fun and I like
yeah,
them. So,
I like them as well.
yeah,
But
that kind of
I've
thing I
actually
like.
read all. But I agree with you with the long movies. Like I'll be sitting there, and I don't really want to sit on the couch for 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Where I can go do something active, like outside, where I can go bike riding or something active. So I'm not sitting on the couch staring at a screen for 3 hours because I do get fidgety. I do start walking around. Like it's just something that I don't want to do.
And that was why this is sort of another unpopular opinions type thing. But that was why Avengers Endgame was probably my least favorite of all of the Avengers movies. Because it was 3 hours long.
And if the Avengers movies and stuff like that or Marvel movies, I'll sit there for like 2 hours. But if it's something that if it's like those are the only movies I'll sit and watch. But I can't watch two of them. I'll watch one, maybe two a week or something. Because I just can't sit on my couch for that long.
Yeah.
So like 2 a week is like the maximum. Like one time I was watching it with my dad and he turned another one on, and I was like, "No, Dad, like I can't do that. I need to go outside or something." But yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, honestly, Endgame, in my opinion, was kind of overrated. Like, it's pretty good. Actually, I would say I did like it better than Age of Ultron. Actually, I'd say Age of Ultron was my least favorite Avengers movie, but Endgame was like fine, but it had so much filler. Like I feel like they could have easily brought down the runtime to like 2 hours because I feel like at least like an hour of the movie was just characters standing around talking and not doing anything. And also there's a part where Thor plays Fortnite, which was kind of weird.
Don't spoil it. Guess what? I actually haven't watched it because I'm watching them in order.
You haven't watched Endgame yet?
No, because I'm watching them in order. I was already starting them when Endgame came out.
Yeah, I didn't.
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, I won't spoil it for you then, even though I'm sure you've already gotten some spoilers. But, like, it was fine. It wasn't a bad movie, but people make it sound better than it is, I feel like. But I guess it would be different for you because you actually, like, care about all of the characters in it. For me, I didn't really know any of the, like, backstories of the characters or anything, so you actually, like, care who dies and who lives and stuff, but I didn't really care about that stuff.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, so have you seen all of the Shrek movies?
Yes.
Okay, so this one might get some people a little bit mad at me, like hardcore Shrek fans, but I think that Shrek 4 is the best Shrek.
Yeah.
I think it's better than the first one and the second one, and obviously the third one because the third one sucked.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to kind of agree with you. I kind of liked the one where they had babies, just because they were little Shrek babies, and I thought that was cute.
Was that the second one?
I think so.
I don't remember.
But I have to agree with you. The Shrek 4 was pretty good. I have to admit that. So, yeah, I agree with
I think it's very underrated, and I really liked Rumpelstiltskin as a villain. I thought it was a really good villain, and it wasn't even like the funniest of the Shrek movies or anything, but it was like it had a better like story than all of them. I feel like, and it was actually the first like story-driven kind of movie.
Yeah, the backstory was definitely better. I'm gonna have to say that. that?
Most people's favorites, or most people consider the second one to be their favorite. Personally, I don't really remember the second one that much, but like, I just remember the fourth one because I liked it so much, and I don't really,
Yeah,
to be honest, if I'm gonna be honest right now, I have almost no memory of the first, second, or third movies. I only really remember the fourth one because that was the one I liked so much.
same. I only remember from the second one the babies, but
Mhm. I remember the babies.
I 100% yeah, I 100% relate to you not remembering most of them.
Yeah, I remember the babies. I remember like the fairy godmother villain and like Lord Farquaad. I remember like All Star, but that's just because it's a meme. And
Yeah.
like I remember the characters, but I don't really remember any of the things that happened or anything like that.
Okay. So my next one is, and you can't relate to this because you're not a girl,
Okay.
but a lot of girls, um, care about what they're wearing and like care about dyes and like all that girly stuff. And one day I probably will be like that. But right now, I'm not. I'm a Tom. I 100% like sports. I don't care about what I'm wearing. I just want to be comfortable. And I just care about sports, really.
Yeah,
But yeah, a lot of
I mean I don't care about
want to look.
sports, but I mean like yeah, I mean I can't really relate to you obviously, but like I feel like most of my friends who are boys, I feel like we all kind of agree that girly girls, like generic, like cliche girly girls,
Yeah,
are kind of annoying.
yeah,
Honestly, like we
100%.
don't really like them, to be honest.
Yeah, they're really annoying. But I'm not. I'm not that kind of person. Like I'm more active. I just want to be comfortable. Like I don't want to wear jeans every day. Sometimes I do want to wear sweatpants because I do want to play a sport or something like that.
Yeah, I actually wear jeans most of the time if I'm not in my pajamas all day, but not because I want to look cool, but because I actually find jeans pretty comfortable.
Yeah, and I, I, lunchtime at my high school, we can go on the skate park.
Mhm.
I'm not at the high school right now, but next year I will be. But the school I'm going to, has a skate park, and I feel like if I'm wearing ripped jeans and I care about what I'm gonna wear, I can't skateboard because that's just uncomfortable. I feel like I'm gonna wear some leggings or something that I can actually move in to skateboard. And yeah, sometimes I do care like how people think of me, but most of the time I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wear what I want to wear. Like I don't really care, you know.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So yeah, that's my unpopular girl opinion. But yeah.
All right. So my next one, I don't know if you've watched this show before, but probably gonna offend a lot of teenage girls right now and also my sister because my sister loves this show. Um but honestly, I think that Pretty Little Liars is a terrible show.
I agree.
It
I used
is
to watch it. I don't get it. It's such a bad show.
it's so boring. Nothing
I know.
happens. It's like Inside Out, nothing happens. It's like
I know.
why can't you just have a little bit of action every now and then, show?
It's like, oh, A's the murderer. Oh, okay. Like, you're not gonna do anything about it. You're just gonna walk away hoping that you
Yeah.
won't get murdered.
And
Like,
the show takes itself too seriously too, because it's like
okay.
it's like always trying to be so like dramatic and like crazy, and it like the show thinks that it has such good
Yeah.
writing and stuff. I don't really care about it. Like that's why I love Stranger Things, because Stranger Things has the mystery aspect, but it actually has a bunch of action too, and like the characters are really likable, and really like funny and stuff. But in Pretty Little Liars,
Yeah,
it's just mystery. There's no action, and the characters aren't even
yeah,
likable. I hated every single character. They were all so
exactly.
annoying.
They're so
All of the like five
annoying.
main girls, each and every one of them pissed me off in their own way. They were all
Yep.
the most annoying girls you could think of. Like I watched all of season 1, and I think there was one scene, one 2-minute scene in season 1 that had like 20, 40-minute long episodes that I liked. So that's not a very good ratio.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do not like Pretty Little Liars. It is not a good show.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. My next unpopular opinion is SpongeBob. Every person I have talked to hates SpongeBob, is against SpongeBob. SpongeBob is a freaking awesome show. It is so funny. Okay? When I go to bed, you're damn right. I want to hear SpongeBob on that TV. I want to hear SpongeBob being dumb because I had the best sleep ever. SpongeBob is such a good show. I hate everybody who says it isn't. Like
Yeah.
there's gonna be a lot of hate in your comments, but I love SpongeBob.
No, I definitely agree with you with that. I don't think that's really an unpopular opinion. I mean, maybe it is with like your friends who you hang out with, but I think most people definitely like SpongeBob. The thing I've heard is that the modern episodes aren't very good, but the old ones are. But I kind of like it all, honestly. It's just a really
Yes,
fun show to watch, and it's definitely my favorite show. It's a really good show. It has so many funny moments, and I mean,
everyone at my school is like, "Oh, you probably watch SpongeBob," and it's like, "Yeah,
that's not a bad
it's
thing.
hilarious."
It's not an insult.
You probably don't watch SpongeBob because you're not allowed, and I
Yeah,
don't get why parents don't allow SpongeBob.
when you think about it, Steven Hillenburg, the creator of SpongeBob, pretty much single-handedly created this generation's sense of humor. So that's pretty
And
crazy.
I don't want to get why parents don't allow SpongeBob. It's like,
Yeah.
did you watch SpongeBob when you were a kid? No, I wasn't allowed. Why?
I mean, it does have
It's
an
so
adult
funny.
joke every now and then, but like, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got my niece. My niece is 3, and I got my niece watching SpongeBob because she likes funny movies. So, and she likes those kind of cartoons. So I was like, Miley, I'm going to show you the show that Auntie Ella watches, and she's like, okay. And every now and then, she's like, can we watch SpongeBob?
Yeah, it's a really like funny show, and it's a really good show. I like it a lot.
Yeah. And Miley has fun watching it. There's a lot of kids movies, like Inside Out, that Miley, my 3-year-old niece, watches, and it's like, can we watch something else? Like SpongeBob has just so much things going on. She's like, ooh, that I like that, or something like that, or like it has so much going on that you can't really get bored of it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely my favorite show for sure. I think everybody who watches my channel knows how much I like SpongeBob because I've made 2 top 10 lists about it and like a whole bunch of YTPs on it, like 5 or
Yeah.
6 or 7 YTPs now. I don't know how many now. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, anybody who watches my channel probably knows that I like it a lot. Okay, so I was gonna talk about Despicable Me, sort of. I actually really thought that Despicable Me, for the most part, was a pretty good series, and I actually thought that Minions was a pretty good movie.
Until Despicable Me 3 came out.
Yeah. I mean, but I actually liked Minions, though.
Yeah, same. That was like my favorite movie when I was a kid.
I actually thought it was good because most people hated it. I actually thought it was pretty funny and really creative. Like the first Despicable Me movie, I would say is obviously the best one. Like you can't beat that one. That one's a masterpiece. But
Yeah.
second one was fine. It wasn't bad at all, but it wasn't the best. It wasn't as good as the first one. And I actually thought Minions was quite good, and Despicable Me 3 was not that good, to be honest. It was definitely the worst out of all of them.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty excited
When
for Minions too.
when Minions 3 came out, or not Minions 3, Minions came out, I was probably about 9.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. My parents got me it for my birthday. Like my parents got me a big present and then a bunch of little presents, and that was one of my little presents.
Oh, nice.
I watched it every night. I watched it every single night, and I absolutely loved it. That was like my favorite movie. It was such a good movie.
Yeah.
I love the concept of it, and yeah, I loved how it's like before Despicable Me, like
Mhm.
like Gru comes up at like the end of the movie kind of thing, and
Yeah, and
they're like, wow.
like this is sort of another unpopular opinion that has to do with that, but I don't really find Minions annoying, honestly. Like, Minions
I don't.
actually are kind of not annoying in my opinion.
They're cute.
Yeah, I don't dislike them at all.
I totally agree with you.
Although I will say that Illumination, the makers of Despicable Me, is a pretty like trashy company. Like they only care about money and stuff, and they're like the animation looks fine, but it's like the laziest possible animation ever because it costs them like nothing, and it's like generic and stuff. So like I don't like Illumination as a company, but I think Despicable Me was a really good movie, and I think like Hotel Transylvania was a really good movie too. Like those kind of like original movies.
I'm not gonna lie, I like the movies. I just hate the company, kind of.
Yeah,
You know?
and the problem is they keep just making sequels. Like, I think whenever they make an original movie, the first one is always really good, and then it just gets worse and worse because they keep making sequels that are completely unnecessary. Like, Hotel Transylvania 1 was awesome. Hotel Transylvania 2 was kind of whatever. Hotel Transylvania 3 was just absolute garbage. I hated the third one. So, like, I feel like they just kind of, screw over their own movies, like kind of like screw up the stories that they're trying to create because they want money. Like I think they need to stop making sequels.
The third one is always like horrible, like Despicable Me 3, Hotel Transylvania 3. The two are fine. The two I like. 3 was horrible. I hated it. I hate how he found his zing because in the first two movies, it was like you couldn't find another zing. Like stupid.
And I hated that. I always hate it when kids movies have it so the villain doesn't die but just becomes randomly like a good guy because it needs to be family friendly. But I hate that because it kind of ruins the plot. Like it's like this evil like monster guy who wants to kill everybody, and then all of a sudden the main character gives him like a speech, and then he's like, oh, you know what, you're right, I'm a good guy now, and then he just doesn't die. Like it's the stupidest plot device ever, and it happens in like every single Illumination movie that there is.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree.
For sure. And like I gotta respect like DreamWorks, for example, for not really continuing the sequels too far until their movies get like fricked up. Like Kung Fu Panda, for example, they could have easily made like 10 Kung Fu Panda movies and made like $1 billion, but they decided to stop it after the third one because the story was finished and they didn't want to over continue the story. Same with like Shrek. They were actually planning on making a Shrek 5, but they canceled it because they decided that the fourth one was a really good ending to the series and they didn't want to ruin it.
Yeah, and yeah, I have to agree with you. Like, I like the movies. Like, sometimes I wish they would make another one, but at the same time, I'm glad they didn't make another one because I didn't want it to ruin it for me.
Yeah. Although I will say I am a little sad that they canceled Shrek 5 just because, like, I didn't really think it was going to be that good of a movie, but just because, like, of the memes it would have spawned, like, no doubt it would have had at least, like, 10 memes.
Yeah. So, can I say mine?
Yep.
Everybody loves pajamas. And don't get me wrong, I love pajamas in the daytime. Okay? I love wearing pajamas instead of clothes.
Alright.
But at night, when you're laying in bed, pajamas are the most annoying thing ever. They get like tangled up and you're like in like a tangle to sleep.
That's a weird one. I mean, I actually don't really like wearing pajamas all day, but I do it anyway because I'm too lazy to get dressed. But I end up feeling really gross and like sweaty and stuff.
Yeah.
Even though I'm probably not actually sweating, like I like feel my arm, and I'm not even sweating at all. I'm just like I just feel like that because I feel so gross. Um,
I don't really necessarily feel that. I just like the comfort of them, but I hate wearing them at night. They're so annoying.
Now, well, I don't agree with you on that, but we probably have different kinds of pajamas because my pajamas are actually not really pajamas. They're just like t-shirts and shorts, and I just sleep in that.
That's what I do normally, but pajamas, like I'm talking about like pajamas that are made like because it's pajamas.
No, I hate like pajama pants. They're like so hot. Like I hate like the fleece material. They're so hot and
And
awful.
when you try to sleep and you roll over, the pant that was used to be there is still there. Like you get tangled up and you're like,
Oh yeah, I know what you
they
mean.
make them so loose that you get so tangled, and that annoys me so much.
Yeah. Yeah, but most of the time I don't even wear pajamas to bed just because like I mean again, my pajamas aren't really pajamas, but like just
Yeah.
because I'm kind of lazy, not going to lie, or not really lazy, but I'm tired like when it gets to that point cuz I usually go to bed really late, especially now because of quarantine. So like I usually don't go to bed until at least 1 in the morning like at
Yeah.
least. So like I'm like super tired by the time I go to bed, so I basically just flop down on my bed in my like jeans and stuff and my t-shirt or whatever I'm wearing and just fall asleep.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I do that most of the time. But in quarantine, I've been feeling really weird and stuff. So I'm tired a lot. So I've been going to bed around like 11 or 10. And that's really early. But usually I would agree with you. But quarantine is just messing with me, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, here's a really unpopular opinion, and probably the comments will be like, I disagree with you so much, and I'm sure you would disagree with
Yeah,
me
that's the
too, but
point of the videos, you
yeah.
idiots.
Yeah. So, you'll probably disagree with me here as well, but I have anxiety about throwing up, so I would rather break a bone than throw up. A lot of people, I'm like, what would you rather? And they're like, oh, throw up. Sure, I don't want a broken bone, but like, I don't want a broken bone, but I definitely rather it than throwing up. And that's because of my anxiety, but that's just my really unpopular opinion.
Well, here's the problem with that one. I agree with you about throwing up, but the thing is I can't really decide because I've never broken a bone before, so I don't actually know what it feels like. So like if I knew what it felt like, then I could probably choose. But for the time being, I don't really know. And I think the not knowing is the worst part about it. Like I feel like it's never as bad as you think it's going to be.
See, but I broke a finger. That's how I've broken, and that hurt. Oh, that hurt like crazy. That hurt so bad. So imagine breaking your arm. But I still would rather that than throwing up.
Yeah, I mean, I hate throwing up too. Like, I had food poisoning once. It was like one of the worst days of my life. Not including days where like loved ones have died, but like my worst like personal day, like the worst thing that's happened to me.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, like cuz I don't know if breaking a bone is that
It's painful.
like I'm sure it's painful, but like my little cousin when she was 6, she fell off like a 20-foot slide and broke her leg and she didn't even like cry.
See, I'm gonna have to disagree with you there because I broke a finger and I don't know if that really hurt.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know personally.
But that's just a finger. Like, I don't know if that's like
I would say I would rather get cut by glass than throw up, because little fun fact about me, I am kind of immune to broken glass, which is weird. Because when I was little, I was at the park with my cousin, and I guess I stepped on some broken glass. I didn't even notice. And it was like in my foot, and 20 minutes later, I was like, is there a rock in my shoe or something? And then I took my shoe off, and there's like glass sticking out of my foot and blood everywhere. And then I didn't even feel it. I felt literally no pain. So then later, like a week later, I was like, okay, am I like immune to glass? So this was when I was littler, so I was kind of a dumbass. So I there was like this light bulb that didn't work. Like it wasn't broken, like it wasn't shattered, but it was like out, like it wouldn't
Yeah.
light wouldn't go through it anymore. So I went outside into my backyard with the light bulb and just squeezed it in my hand as hard as I could until it broke, and it shattered in my hand, and there was glass in my hand and blood everywhere once again. And again, I didn't feel anything. I felt literally zero pain. So I
That is
guess I'm
so
just
weird.
immune to glass.
That's like everyone kind of has like a little superpower. That's
Yeah,
definitely yours.
that's mine. I'm immune to glass. So if anybody ever, like, you know how in like movies when people are like trying to be tough and they like have a bottle and they like smash it over a table and then like point the sharp end at the person, I'll just walk right
Yeah,
into it. I'll just be like, "Yo, what's up?" I'll just grab it from the sharp end and cut myself with it on purpose.
that is
Like I'm the
crazy.
freaking Hulk.
Anything but
Have you ever cut yourself with glass before?
yeah, I actually rate the second. I actually have 3 pieces of glass in my hand that I can't get out.
Oh,
I
that's
shoved.
awesome. Does it hurt? Are you immune to it as well?
It hurt. Like it didn't hurt when it happened. I didn't feel it when it happened. But after, if I like touched it, it would hurt. But like
Is
I
it
didn't feel
bleeding?
it when it happened. No, it's like stuck in my thumb. Like you can't really see it, but like
Well, that's funny because
it's like
that tiny little piece of glass in your thumb hurts more for you than me getting an entire like light bulb's worth of glass stuck in my hand
yeah,
with blood running down my arm.
yeah,
So that's a little
yeah.
weird. I wonder, like,
I don't
I
actually
haven't
know
actually
if
cut myself with glass since then, though. Is the thing, like, I haven't actually, like, since I was little and I did that on purpose. I've never cut myself with glass, so I wonder if I'm still immune.
I know this is like a dumb thing, but I honestly think you should try it again.
Yeah, but then,
That's
like,
like,
but I'm not a little kid anymore, so now people will think I'm insane and they'll, like, send me to an asylum or something.
yeah, but like, why do people have to know you squeeze the bottle
Because
until
my
it
hand
breaks?
will be covered in blood. Well, because they'll know if it doesn't work. They'll know if I have to go to the hospital.
I know it's dumb. I just want to know if you still have a
All
superpower.
right, will do.
Seriously?
No. Anyway. But I'm sure I'll cut myself by accident at some point, don't you worry.
Okay. Just
Anyway,
making sure.
though, so do you have any more opinions at all that you wanted to share?
Did I just share mine? Yeah, I just
Yeah.
shared mine. I would rather break them up. But yeah, that's basically all I got. That's like an hour, so
Yeah. Well, I think, yeah, I mean, we recorded for like over an hour, but editing it will probably be less. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, so guys, I think that is a pretty good spot to end it. Let me know if you like this format of video. Make sure to check out Ella's channel. I'll link it in the description. And yeah, let me know
Don't
if you
forget
like this
that.
kind of video and if you want me to do more. And yeah, guys,
Yeah.
thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.